I always thought I knew the layout of my own home, the creaks in the hallway, the groan of the pipes, the way the wind sometimes moaned through the attic in winter. I grew up in that house. My parents left it to me when they moved to Florida. Nothing ever felt unusual until I started living there alone. It began small, things out of place. My keys never seemed to stay where I left them. I chalked it up to stress, to forgetfulness. I told myself I was getting older, that my memory wasn't what it used to be. But it wasn't just that. I would hear whispers at night, not full voices, just the suggestion of sound, like someone talking in another room. Every time I got up to check, nothing. One night, I came home late from work. It was raining hard, and I just wanted to get inside and dry off. I opened the front door, and for a split second, I could have sworn I saw someone standing at the end of the hallway. A silhouette, tall and motionless. I blinked, and it was gone. I laughed nervously to myself, convincing my brain it had been a trick of the light, a reflection maybe, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Over the next few weeks, the house began to feel less like home. Lights would flicker, doors I knew I'd locked would stand open, the heater would turn off in the middle of the night, even though the thermostat hadn't changed. And then there was the mirror. It hung in the hallway between the bedrooms. It had been there since I was a kid. One night, as I passed it, I saw something behind me. I turned fast, but there was nothing. My reflection had been normal except for one thing. I wasn't smiling, but my reflection was. That night, I slept with the lights on. I tried to ignore it, but the house had other plans. One evening, I came home to find every cupboard in the kitchen wide open. Dishes were stacked oddly on the floor, like someone had started rearranging everything and then stopped. My first thought was that someone had broken in, but there was no sign of forced entry, and nothing was taken. I checked the security footage. The cameras showed the kitchen dark and undisturbed, and then they for exactly 4 minutes, static. When the footage returned, everything was open. I started researching the house, old town records, real estate documents, anything I could find. I learned that before my parents bought it, the place had sat empty for nearly 20 years. The previous owner had died in the house, alone. Her name was Margaret Reed. She was a widow, no children, no family. The neighbors said she was quiet, kept to herself, hardly ever seen. One winter, the mail piled up. A neighbor checked in and found her in the living room, eyes wide open, frozen in her chair. The coroner said she'd been dead for almost a week. That story stuck with me, not because of how she died, but where. In the same room where I now spent most of my evenings. I started dreaming about her. At first, it was just quick flashes in. Old woman standing in the doorway, her eyes black and empty. But then the dreams became longer. She spoke to me, whispered things I couldn't understand. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, heart pounding. I tried to bring friends over, but they always left early, said the place felt off. One friend, Mark, said he heard someone calling his name from the basement. Another swore he saw a figure in the mirror that wasn't either of us. One night, I stayed up, determined to catch whatever was happening. I set up motion detectors and placed my phone to record video. Around 3:17 a.m., I heard movements, slow footsteps on the stairs. I held my breath. The motion detector lit up. My phone began recording. I watched from the corner of my room as the door creaked open by itself. There was nothing there, but the hallway beyond looked darker than usual, like the light was being swallowed. I played the footage back in the morning. I expected static. Instead, the video showed something worse. As the door opened, a face leaned in, pale, hollow-eyed, and smiling. I contacted a local paranormal investigator. She agreed to visit the house. The moment she stepped inside, she tensed. "This house," she said, "knows who's here. It doesn't like to be empty." She conducted a series of EVP sessions, asking questions, leaving recorders in different rooms. When she played the recordings back, I could hear faint replies. "Stay. Not alone. Mine." The worst was, from the hallway mirror, when she asked, "Who are you?" A voice replied, "You know me." After that, She told me the house wasn't haunted by a person, it was the house itself, sentient, aware, feeding off attention. It had been alone for too long and didn't want to be again. I tried leaving. I stayed with friends for a week, but every time I closed my eyes, I dreamt of the house. I'd see the mirror, the hallway, the living room where Margaret died. It was always calling me back. Eventually, I returned. The moment I stepped inside, the lights turned on by themselves. The air felt heavy, but almost welcoming, as if the house had missed me. I've been here ever since. I don't hear the whispers anymore. The footsteps have stopped. The mirror no longer smiles. But sometimes, when I sit in the living room late at night, I feel watched. Not in a threatening way. More like the way a child watches a parent, afraid they might leave again. I don't lock the doors anymore. I don't turn off the lights. I talk to the house sometimes, and I think it listens, because this place knows when I'm alone, and it doesn't like it. Until next time, stay safe.